Have you ever tried or wanted to connect your Wasabi account and those data files stored in your Wasabi object storage to the Snowflake data cloud? Well, we're going to show you how to accomplish that in just a few minutes with datalakehouse.io. What we're looking at right now is what we call a sync bridge at datalakehouse.io, which acts as the conduit to connect your Wasabi data files to your Snowflake data cloud. So let's break this down. So first we want to understand what files we are retrieving from our Wasabi cloud. So you'll get all the pertinent information like bucket name, folder name, so forth and so on. Then inside of Data Lakehouse, you will create what we call a source connection. You will go to the source connection listings and simply type in Wasabi, find Wasabi, storage, and then click on the Add New button. From there, you'll simply give this new connector a name, something like Wasabi Marketing, for example, if we're looking for pulling over our marketing files from our Wasabi bucket. Next, we want to give it a prefix. This is actually going to be the name of the schema that will be created in your Snowflake database, landing the data, synchronizing the data from your Wasabi storage into your Snowflake account. So we might give this a name, something like marketing files. Next, we want to go ahead and enter the bucket name for where our files are stored. So this will be in your Wasabi account, the bucket that you've previously created and you're storing your files in. So you want to make sure you have access to it, obviously. So let's say this is marketing dot data company dot io. All right, next we've got the region. So you can leave the region as a default if you don't know what the region is. Otherwise, if you know the specific region, you want to go ahead and change it to that. Next, we need a folder path. So the folder path is typically off of the root of the bucket, and we need to specify a bucket path so that we know specifically what files we want to pull over and not waste any bandwidth, but get really just the data that we want. So we'll go ahead and enter a bucket name here. We might have something like marketing data files, for example. And then we have other options like you're able to input a file pattern. You're able to select files. So we're going to go ahead and pick any type of Excel or CSV file here. And then lastly, you want to go ahead and enter your access key and your secret key that provides programmatic access to your Wasabi bucket. And you can get that from your Wasabi administrator if you are not the administrator already for your account. Click Save and Test, and you'll get a few prompts whether the connection was successful or not between Data Lakehouse and Wasabi. Once that connection is successful, you'll get returned back to the sources list and you'll see your connection here. You can review your connection settings at any point in time by simply navigating back over to the sources and then identifying your information is correct or not. Next, we want to go and create a target. So if we have a source, we need a target connector to land that data to. So we want to connect to Snowflake. Go ahead and find Snowflake in the target list. You can search for it if you need to. And then from there, we'll click on Add New Target. Similar to the source connector, we need to enter a unique name or alias, and let's just call that Demo Snowflake, for example. And we'll go ahead and enter all of our information that provides the connection details to our Snowflake database in our Snowflake account. One thing to take note of is that for all connectors, the instructions are on the right-hand side at all times for you to review and to read on any specific details about the connector form. In the Snowflake target specifically, we have already provided some very best practice scripting that allows you or your account admin, your administrator of your Snowflake account, to create a new user with the correct privileges if you don't already have a user where you plan on incorporating and landing the data into a specific database with perhaps like a service account user. Lastly, once your target has been created successfully and you find your target in the listing, you'll want to create a sync bridge. Navigate in the menu to Sync Bridges, then click on New Sync Bridge. A new sync bridge form is very straightforward. You'll simply create a unique name for the sync bridge. So how about Wasabi to Snowflake? From there, you'll simply select the source and then the target connections that you created. You can select a time zone and a frequency for how often you want that data from your Wasabi bucket synchronized over to your Snowflake account. Click on Save Sync Bridge, And once you click on Save Sync Bridge, you'll be returned back to the Sync Bridge listing where you'll see the Wasabi to Snowflake Sync Bridge, and it will run on the next scheduled frequency. But if you want to run it right away, you simply click on the Actions button, click on Run Sync Bridge right now. You'll be prompted to run the manual process. And then once you click on that, your data will begin synchronizing from your Wasabi account into your Snowflake account. Well, that concludes our quick walkthrough for connecting Wasabi to your Snowflake data cloud. If you like that, go ahead and try out the connector on your own. Sign up at datalakehouse.io, where you can use dozens of database and application connectors to begin democratizing your data, and stick around for some of the other great Data Lakehouse features for data management and managing your data at your organization.